Hi everybody, I'm Lori, and I've kind of decided to go back in time, I guess you would say, and vlog about my experience, the lies, the struggles, stress of being a teen mom. I became a teen mom March 26, 1993 at 6 p.m. I got pregnant with my son Nicholas in June of 1992, the summer before I started my freshman year of high school with, I guess you'd say, my sweetheart. We had started dating in 6th grade, continued to date off and on. He was my first kiss. I lost my virginity to him. It was my first serious relationship. And I guess we just never thought it would happen to us. So I got pregnant the summer before starting high school. We did not tell our parents until I was about 3 months pregnant. It was September, so it was after school started. I probably could have hid that pregnancy for almost my entire pregnancy. I went from not showing to huge, just felt like overnight, but I didn't even show till I was 6, 7 months pregnant. So we could have kept it a secret, but we did end up telling our parents. And then of course, they decided we had to have a meeting at my house. So his mom came, his dad and his stepmom. It was my dad and my mom, and then of course the two of us. The discussion went like this. I basically got told I had to have an abortion. That if I wanted to continue seeing my boyfriend, that I had to have an abortion. And that's basically how that conversation went over and over and over again. We stood on my back porch, him and I. He held my hand. It's like, I still want to be able to see you. I love you. And I said, I'm not getting an abortion. This is our baby. I was 15. I didn't know that they could not legally make me get one, let alone did I know I was pretty much too far along to get one in the state of Florida at the time. But so, I was not allowed to see him again. My mother scheduled an appointment. She did what my father told her to do, and she took me to an abortion clinic just a few weeks later. I don't even think it was a few weeks. It was probably the following week. When we got there, the lady up front, she was extremely nice. She said, "Do you want this?" I said, "No." She said, "Okay, that's it. We're done." Never checked me in or anything like that. As soon as I said no, I didn't want it, she informed my mother they could not make me do it. It did not matter what they wanted. It was my body, my choice, which, as we know these days, Roe versus Wade was overturned, and many states are making it illegal or next to impossible for a woman to have choices with her body. At least when this happened to me, I did have my choice. My choice was to not get an abortion and to carry my child. So, of course, then my parents had to get me set up with the OBGYN. And of course, you know, I'm 15, definitely never had one of those exams before. I'm now 46, still don't like going to the gynecologist, but how many of us women really do? So, of course, it eventually got out that I was pregnant at school, and this is where I start to become depressed and stressed because, you know, he's supposed to love me. And then, you know, everybody knew we'd been together. Like, none of our friends questioned. They all knew who baby daddy was. His friends even knew he was baby daddy. But his friends and him started a rumor saying I pulled a train. So who knows who could be the father? I mean, stupidest thing. And you know what made it even worse? Do you know what my last name was? Toy. Toy. Can you imagine things I had to hear in the halls. Do you know how traumatizing him and his buddies doing that was for me? And then to top it off, his sister was at the same high school. His mother was a teacher there. She taught honors American history, which eventually she became my teacher because I took honors classes and was on that path in high school. And it ended up being a pretty miserable freshman year. I didn't have any like your typical memories or anything like that. I was pregnant, alone. My friends stood by me. I mean, they never left me. They were there for me. But I literally went to school, came home, went to my room, did my homework, stayed in my room, came down, ate dinner, went back to my room, spent a lot of time crying, cried a lot. Spent 6 months crying because I did it alone. He didn't come with me to a single doctor's visit. My mother did. You know, my mother didn't want me to have an abortion. I will give her that. But it's not the same. She wasn't there to hold me when I was crying. She wasn't there to make me feel better. She wasn't the person I loved. She wasn't my child's father. She wasn't going through what I went through. She had no clue what it was like to go to high school and hear whispers from people that you didn't know, to get called a boy toy because of a rumor he started to try to make himself look better. You know, she didn't go through all that. My father, he traveled a lot. He was rarely home. So I dealt with my mother. That was probably the longest time in my life she was actually nice to me, was while I was pregnant. Because I can tell you, when we lived in Pennsylvania, my father would travel. To this day, I remember hiding under my bed, my mother screaming and yelling and throwing stuff because she was angry. And she didn't even have to be angry at me. If she was angry at any of my other siblings, I was the one who took the brunt of it. Not them, me. So I remember that. I remember my grandmom dying when I was 7 and my safe place went away. Because I spent a lot of time at my grandmother's and it was my safe spot. It was my safe place. And now here I was, 15, alone. I didn't have my grandmom. I didn't have the father of my child, because he sure wasn't going to stand up to anybody and be like, hey, she's carrying my baby. Don't you think I should be there? Considering all summer, he's like, well, you can't get more pregnant. You're already pregnant. You can't get more pregnant. Now, why stop having sex now? We already got pregnant. And, you know, I mean, you can't get more pregnant. Duh. But, you know, why couldn't he have said that to his mother, who wouldn't let him be there? Or why couldn't he have stood up to my father? You know, I believe if he had stood up to my father and said, no, I'm going to be there for her. I'm going to, you know, step up, and I helped make this child and I'm going to be there and help support her. And I you know, want to help take care of her and my child and everything. I believe my father would have respected that, but he never could do it. So this is the start of my vlog. You know, there was no Google. We didn't have the cell phones. We couldn't get on the internet. I didn't know what my rights were. I didn't know if I had any rights. To me, I was 15. I was still a kid. I didn't know that getting pregnant at 15 basically emancipated you. I didn't know that. I didn't find out till I was in my 20s. and find out a lot of stuff. Nobody knows what I dealt with from the time my mother found out I was pregnant. What I continued to deal with until the day I moved out. You know, you see Teen Mom on television, and you know, that's not real life. I'm sorry. You don't become a teen mom and get rich. And when there was no internet, and I can only imagine how it was like in the 50s if you got pregnant. I mean, think if you got pregnant in the 50s, 40s, 60s, and you were a teen mom, they sent you away to go have the baby in secrecy and, you know, gave it, you know, took it from you. You didn't even have any kind of choice. You know, that's how it was. You know, at least I had some choices. But this is going to be the start of what I've been through, the lies I've been told, the lies that have been told about me to turn my child against me by my own mother and his own father, who had nothing to do with him for 12 years until I brought him back into his life. Yeah, I have a soft spot for him, and well, probably still do, but I see things a little more clearly. So this was part 1. I don't know how many parts I'll make. I guess it just depends. I mean, my son's now 30, so there's a lot to say that people don't know about. A lot of feelings, a lot of emotions, a lot of stuff I've been through over the last 30 years of my life. But this is where I'm going to leave it today, because I'm feeling emotional, and I'm going to end part 1. I hope you guys will follow me, like, subscribe, so that you can kind of hear what it was like to be a teen mom before you had Google and internet, before you actually knew what you were legally allowed to do and what people weren't legally allowed to do or manipulate you to do. Because I can tell you, I can't be the only mom, the only teen mom who went through this. There has to be other teen moms out there who got manipulated, lied to, made to feel like crap and dirt. I know I'm not alone. I'm sure even today there are teen moms who are made to feel like I did. And if me speaking out about what happened to me helps anybody, then I did my job. So I hope everybody has a good night, and hit like and subscribe below, and I'll talk to you later.